Hi, everyone. Welcome to Ask an Agent Anything. It's Wednesday again. I can't believe it's already been a month since the last one. Let me just get myself set up here, turn my chat on. What we're going to be going over today is what is the career investment of an actor? This is actually another favorite topic. They're all favorite topics of mine, and I know I keep saying that. And this is really cool. I don't know if you guys noticed. Sally, I can actually see you this time. Hi, Tiffany. I don't know if that's like a new restream thing. I never used to be able to see faces before, so that's kind of neat. So if anyone has questions, as always, you can use the chat box and type up any questions that you have. If there are future topics you'd like us to go over, we're just kind of doing these to educate, to give hopefully valuable information. Any feedback is always appreciated. And as I said before, you can always ask us to speak on future topics. That's really the kind of engagement that we want, because we do want to help and educate. And I always say to our talent that comes in the door, the more you know, the better you will be to work with. And I think the more successful you will be long term. So the topic today is, what is the career investment of an actor? We have a lot of newer talent comes through the door who are just not really clear about what all it actually takes to, to be an actor, to do this successfully. What are the things that you need to have in your toolkit? Just like any profession, whether I always use this reference, like, if you're a handyman and you show up without your toolkit, you really can't do much work. It's kind of the same thing for the actor. But we'd like to have, have in our toolkit, would like to have you, obviously be ready with is actors need headshots. Actors need updated resumes. Actors need reels if available to you. Up until maybe 5 or 6 years ago, those were actually really, really hard to get because you would have a hard time tracking down footage or, copies of your work that, because a lot of times we don't even know, or not that we don't know where it's being published, but we can't actually find where it's published or find a version of it that we can actually take offline. But I think with recent companies coming out that specialize in doing reels for actors, has kind of bridge that gap a little bit. Obviously, we'd prefer to see your real work, but I think it's also okay now to, do a 30 or 60-second script that's actually part of a storyline that is well produced, that you can use as your reel. At the end of the day, having transitioned from this in person to the digital space and having you guys, do self-tape submissions, you don't always get the feedback that we used to get when you were actually in the room with a casting director, because you're submitting it and then either they like it or they don't like it, or maybe they may ask you to reshoot it. But for the most part, we don't have that, that feedback, that criticism that I think really helped actors kind of for future sessions. We also, we're getting a lot of submissions where somebody will tell us, well, they're really talented and they're kind and they're great to work with, but they have no training, they have no experience, and obviously you want to have all those good qualities, but for us to really take, and this is specifically for actors now, we're not talking about commercial only or print, this is for film acting. We really want to see training. We want to see you in consistent training. We want you to see you with reputable training. And I'm going to get back to that here in a minute, but we definitely want to see that you're growing. The actor that has a connection with an acting coach or someone that they're in training with usually comes out way better than somebody who doesn't have that connection. I think when you're in breakdown services and you've been submitted and you get a 10-page script back and you have 24 to 48 hours to tape this and give it back, you want to have that connection with an acting coach that can help you work through this. Maybe even the service that'll put you on tape if you can't do a well enough job at home. But that's definitely something that is a huge investment really on your part. I mean, pictures you only take once a year, usually, unless you have some kind of major change, physical appearance change. But for acting training, we really want to see you consistently in something or other. And there, we have people that train with one person. We have people that train with various people. I have talent that, go to this for film acting and then this for maybe comedy, or, maybe it's more in the hosting realm. Like, there's so many different things that you can do there, and it doesn't all have to be with the same person. And you can either, study with an individual, or you can study with a place that has several individuals. Both are okay. It's okay to do in person. It's okay to do virtual. It's okay to do big group settings. Like, I mean, there are really so many different ways that you can do this. And I think especially since the pandemic, it has opened up so many ways, more ways of training to us than ever before. Myself, we've been virtual now for a little bit over 2 years. I like to work virtually, but I miss the human connection. So, you just have to kind of really see what works out for you. Good morning, Alexis. So that's that side of it. I think you just have to figure out what works for you. Other than that, in your actor's toolkit, and I've done a presentation before for our agency that I actually really enjoyed giving, where it also talks about all these other things that we don't think about. An actor should have their own website. That website should be updated with all your current information, just like you would update any of the casting websites. It should have your updated pictures, your resume, your agency contact. If you have several agencies, make they like one in each state, or maybe two on two different boards. One commercial, one theatrical. Make sure you properly list that so that the right agent gets the call when a producer or director or somebody that wants to hire you wants to speak to you or wants to discuss hiring you. Make sure that, like I said, that's always updated. An actor should also have an IMDb. IMDb comes, I think it comes all kinds of other subscriptions. I think that's really still the only way that, for the most part, we can look you up and see what kind of work you've done. We've seen a lot of projects go out lately where they aren't doing things properly, but then promising IMDb credit. Be wary of that, because we as agents, also kind of figure out what those projects are. If you're in any way, shape, or form paying for an IMDb credit and that gets out, that completely discredits you as an actor. So make sure you pay attention to that. If you ever have questions on it, ask your peer, ask somebody that knows, ask your acting coach, ask your agent, if something like that ever kind of pops up. But IMDb, I think, is very important. Website's very important. Make sure that your email reflects your name somehow. We have sometimes people that have bobble squabble at Hotmail. If I'm on the go and it's 7 o'clock at night and a production house or somebody emails me and is like, hey, we wanted to talk to this person, and I'm sitting here in my email trying to figure out how to even reach out to you because it doesn't autofill. Make sure that your name is reflected in your email address. If you have a website, really, like I'm BiankaKrausch.com. I don't have, it's not a functioning website, but it should be like info@BiankaKrausch.com, or it should be something that's easily, that where the autofill function works. And maybe that's also very easy for your agent or anyone else to really remember. Oh, okay. You know what? I'm going to go over this real quick. Yeah, Richard Forbes said, I did mine with Wix. Wix is a really easy way to do it. WordPress is good. GoDaddy also has a lot of functionalities when it comes to setting up your website with them. It doesn't need to be anything super crazy or extensive, but just think of it, especially now in this digital age, you just have to have a digital address where people can find you. And I would prefer your real address not to be anywhere but with your agent and on your time cards and on your contracts. Other than that, your real address really shouldn't be anywhere in a public space. So the digital address is perfect. Is there a list of coaches available? Yes, Alexis. You can always ask us. We have lists of all kinds of different people that we like to work with. It's certainly never limited to that list. These are people that we have a good experience with. Our team has audited every one of their classes. We know roughly, what they're charging and what you can expect out of it. So we pre-screen that way. We just want to make sure that there's value and that there's ROI. What I mentioned earlier, we see a lot of this, pay us thousands of dollars and we'll bring you to the top market, blah, blah, blah. I always say this, if you have the money and you want that kind of experience, sure, do it. Do I think that you're getting your ROI on that? Or do I think that's really done with the right intention? I'm going to say no, because honestly, submitting to agencies is free. There are no shortcuts. You cannot learn in 1 week when everybody else learns in years. It's a process. And for me personally, I also don't like to see people skipping steps. I think anytime you try to catapult yourself to the front without actually doing the work, that lets me know you're really not in it for the work. And I think it's not for the right reasons. And I don't know anyone who's gone that route that actually stays in this industry for a long time and does so successfully. It really takes a lot of work, just like any other profession. It's a profession. Even if you're doing it part-time, even if you're not working every day, it is still a profession. Okay, that's that. So we went over, headshots, want to update them every year. Definitely have to have them. Resume needs to be updated everywhere. I know it's a lot of work, but you know what? If you're booking, please take the time and update it. There's so much downtime on set. Take that time, just log in every system and update all your information everywhere. You have to have the casting websites active and ready to go. Casting websites are not owned by agencies, but we'll utilize them. We use, Casting Networks, Actors Access, Casting Workbook, Casting Frontier, and Casting. There's so many of them out there. If you also want to self-submit, there's so many other sites out there like Backstage and Mandy. They're not agency friendly per se in their setup, but you can list your agency representation on there so that then, clients can contact you, or you can refer them to your agency. Those are all, legit systems. Just depends on how many places you want to be present at, but also how much of this work do you want to do yourself, as opposed to having an agent handle this for you. I don't think there's anything wrong with self-submission. So if that's something you want to do, that's absolutely fine. Just make sure you tie them in so you don't lock yourself into a project that you want, where the release maybe isn't proper, or you're not getting paid the right amount, or just some pre-screening in general, which is what we usually like to do. Trying to think if there's anything else that kind of needs to be, obviously you need a passport ready, very important. Have to have a working phone, have to have working transportation. If you don't have transportation, make sure you're in a market where you can get to places, and also let your agent know that you don't have a vehicle and you can only take on certain projects. Other than that, I think, there are other extra things you can add. I always like to say, if you're somebody who's doing this full time and you're working, constantly look at ways to expand your capabilities. Like if there are, hobbies that you can pursue that would make you more bookable, if you can pick up foreign languages, if you, these are all, I call these investments, because whether it's time or financial, it's definitely investment into yourself. For us to even consider someone, you have to have like the basics. Your headshots have to be updated. They have to be professionally done. This cannot be your friend of a friend of a friend that's a, real estate portrait photographer, or maybe a content creator for whatever. These have to be done in a specific format. That's what we want to see. We have, every once in a while talent ask us why we're not publishing them on the website. And it's not because we don't love you. It's not because we don't believe in your capabilities. But if you don't have professional headshots, there's very little I can do with that. And I think there's also a tendency for casting directors to skip over your submission because it's not reflecting properly, especially when the other 100 people that are submitted by various agencies all come across very buttoned up with great pictures, and everything looks solid. It just makes you look more professional. Oh yeah, Christina, she just chimed in. Check your spam. Please check your spam. I check my spam every day. Do you know how many jobs that clients send me go to my spam? The second there's a hyperlink or there's something attached with it that just, raises a flag by my, email provider, it goes into my spam, and then they'll call me like, hey, did you see that? So it is something I literally do every single day, is check my spam. For our company, especially, checks are sent via email. So you definitely want to make sure that they're not in your spam, so that they're not stuck in there. I think that's pretty much it. I don't know if there's any questions out there. If you guys want to ask, I'm happy to answer. Again, if you have any topics you want me to go over, this will go live on, I believe, LinkedIn and on our Facebook page. Make sure you comment on there. If there's a topic you want me to go over, these are really fast. We have to keep them under 15 minutes for various upload reasons. But let me know. I'm happy to talk about it. Again, be wary of scams. I feel like that's, especially since the pandemic, it's always been big, but it's picked up even more. I see just random stuff all the time, and I don't want to call out any companies. I would never do that. But if you see something and it seems too good to be true, reach out, ask us. We'll check into it and give you an honest opinion. We're not here to hurt anyone's business, but at the end of the day, I'm also here to protect my actors and to protect an industry that we're working so very hard to keep truthful and transparent in our state here. Oh, Samantha, thank you. We appreciate you too. Thank you, Richard. Well, thank you for chiming in, everyone. We're almost at 15 minutes. Love you all. If you have any questions, you know where to find me, and we'll chat in a month for the next Ask an Agent Anything. Appreciate y'all. Thanks. Oh wait, somebody just asked, what's the best way to submit changes to an agency? Email your agent. Mika, email your agent, and we'll update the changes for you. Thank you.